Hello, BookTube. This is the I am a reader tag, or I am the reader tag. As far as I can tell, it was originally created by Penguin Books. I saw it on Steve Donahue's channel the other day and I enjoyed it very much. And his guest very much. It was fun watching them interact with each other. I'll try to provide a link down below if I remember. Um, so let's start right off. So choose one word that describes you as a reader. I would hope that word is adventurous. I like many, many, many kinds of books, nonfiction, fiction. Probably fairly heavy towards the nonfiction, but I'm trying to correct that with more fiction. At different times in my life, it's been different. I mean, when I started, it was heavily fiction, although I even read nonfiction as a young person. What's the very first book you fell in love with? I believe that would have been Kidnapped by Robert Louis Stevenson. Runner-up would have been Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. And back in the day, I was my early years of reading were in the 1960s. So the book categories that you see in publishing today hadn't really developed at that time. There was a lot of classics sets in the very rural neighborhood I lived in, so you could borrow books. It was a drive into town to go to public library, which was a Carnegie library. It had very good selection of books, but it tended to be from an earlier generation, the way I look at it now. When I was about 12, I discovered science fiction and fantasy, and I would devour those. So, hardcover or paperback. Well, if I'm traveling, I like e-readers. They're easy to carry. I don't really like reading them per se. I'll find myself that just they don't work for me very well unless I'm traveling. The advantage when I'm traveling, of course, is I can have multiple books without a ton of luggage. I tend to prefer hardbacks. I'm very conscious of the condition of the books I put in my home library because I want it to be something that the family has, something that'll stand up. But I do buy paperbacks sometimes for nostalgia. Sometimes that's the only way I can get a book. Sometimes I love the cover art. Paperbacks can be well made, just like hardbacks can be poorly made. So I try to look at the volume, and I can get a pretty good idea fairly quickly if it's going to stand up. But on the whole, I prefer hardbacks. How has reading shaped your identity? Well, it shaped my career because I'm a librarian. I've owned a small used bookstore years and years and years ago. I've worked in retail bookstores. I've had a lot of other careers too. I think early on they gave me a sense of adventure, a sense of I wanted to do something out in the world. They made me fall in love with the ocean and led to tours of duty in the Coast Guard after reading Treasure Island, after reading the adventure novels of Hammond Dennis. They made me want to travel. Science fiction, I think, made me open-minded. Yeah, made me question, received wisdom. So I think it's played a huge role. What book do you read when you need to be comforted? I would read particular authors, maybe if I needed a break or a little escape from the world. Just say I was at a stressful time. I tend to do that with Louis L'Amour. Just when I need a little a little walk away. Something that doesn't challenge me intellectually, but entertains me and lets me drift off into another world. Some of the science fiction writers do that too. So that, yeah, I think that would be how I would use literature to do that. Who taught you to be a reader, or did you do it all on your own? I have a younger sister who's a big reader, and a younger one who's younger one than her that is also, which is odd because didn't really notice it a ton in our family when I was growing up. I think that it was because of what entertainment options we had. I lived in a little teeny farmhouse in Vermont, quite a ways from everyone. I mean, we had, I say neighborhood, it wasn't really a neighborhood, but our area, the kids would get together sometimes after long walks through the woods to even meet up and play. And then, of course, the winter time's a little different, but so your entertainment, we got one channel on the TV and you could barely see it when I was little, and so reading was how you were entertained and how you learned about the world in some ways. So there wasn't a particular person. I had good teachers. I had wonderful teachers growing up, and I had some horrible teachers growing up, just like everybody else. But in my case, I think it was just where we were located in the world. Describe your dream reading lounge. Well, I'm very fortunate. This is my little nook. I keep getting shrunk down space-wise for where I can have my little reading area, but I always have one. Much of the house has bookcases and books. I think if I had an ideal, I mean, you can find it on YouTube. Alberto Manguel had this reading room in his house in France. That was pretty nice. I just want a room where my books are around me. I like reading with my books around me. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't distract me. I like to have my vinyl albums and my CDs and all that, and a nice stereo system. A comfortable chair, and yeah, a nice window looking outside if it's that would be about it. It wouldn't have to be huge, but yeah, that would be pretty nice. What book changed the way you act or see the world? Many of them have. Combination of television and books, because I not only watched Star Trek but read a lot of the early Star Trek, the James Blish books that they didn't novelize, but they gave you the episodes in literary form, then followed by the early novelizations. Probably had as big an impact because Spock was my hero, and the ideals of Star Trek world, like IDIC, infinite diversity and infinite combinations. The idea of the moral world, the questioning, the looking at yourself in relation to other folks, and your assumptions. So that had a big impact. It made me question things. Made me think, well, could we make a better world? It was an optimistic vision of the world and of the future, saying we are going to make a progress. We are going to accept other people. I've seen some of it happen in my lifetime. I've seen the opposite happen in my lifetime too. But so that gave me sort of a foundational philosophy. So it was actually, which makes sense with my generation, that it would be a combination of books and TV. So this was the I Am the Reader book tag. It was a fun book tag. I enjoyed seeing it on Steve's channel, and I hope some more folks do it. And if you do, let me know. Thank you, BookTube.